Afternoon, how you doing? What day are we? Thursday the 11th of January 1924. 2024. 1924. That's a bit further away than I was expecting. We are going to do a vanity case today. Now, I think we're going to need to do it over two. Over two sessions. So we're going to start it. I'll keep going for half an hour, and then we'll see where we are and work our way around it. Okay, so we might be doing this over two sessions. So let's have a look at what we have. This is the vanity case. Okay, now this is the prototype, so I've only made it once. I'm not happy with the top. I think I pulled the bias too tight, so that will be something I'll be looking at as we remake it. It's got a double zip, so some of the ones that I was looking at, they use a double zip. We've just used two zips. Okay, so it opens like that. And like that, and it opens up like that. Okay, so you'd be able to make this any size, I would imagine. We're just going to go with this because I wanted to make it out of 2 fat quarters. So, well, 3 fat quarters if you count the binding. Okay, so we're just going to talk through that. So, who's there? Hiya, Anne. Hi, Ali. Hiya, Kate. How's Sarah? Sarah is just about got to Norwich, I would have thought. Sean and Sarah left in the van this morning. She was better yesterday, but still, by the time we packed the van, she was starting to look a bit poorly again. So, and her chest was really sore. So I'm hoping she's a bit better. The only thing I've heard is her talking on WhatsApp, sending messages. So, oh, hi Eileen, bye Eileen. Hiya Leslie and Jean, how are you? And Carol, hiya Carol. It's lovely because you've only just been into the shop, Carol. I can put a face there, which is really cool. I like that. So we're making this, and we're probably going to do it over 2 sessions, only because I think it's a bit long-winded. I mean, I was sewing until nearly midnight making it. I also, when you look at this and you look at that, I've also found another way of doing zips and doing this, and the zip being halfway down, which I'm desperate to show you. So that might be another 1 o'clock, because I thought it was really cool. Right, okay, let's go over to the overhead. So like I say, 2 zips. Okay, 2 zips. You could, if you've got a double zip, you could use that. So it opens like this. We have binding inside, okay, so that it gives it a proper bottom, and then I've bound it inside. I've tried to make it easier than having to make do an outside and an inside. I've only used normal batting, normal wadding for this, although you could use bosal if you have a bit of bosal. Oh, it stops there. Okay, so we're gonna start with this, see about half hour, and see where we are with it. Now I've already gone ahead. I've had 2 fat quarters. Look at this. This is beautiful, isn't it? This is Forest Adventure. Look at them. I love them. Absolutely love them. I think they're amazing. And there's the inside. That's the coordinating. I've sandwiched it with some wadding. So I've taken the fat quarters, I've sandwiched it with the wadding, and I've done a 1.5 inch cross hatch pattern over it. Okay, I did a 2 inch on this one, but there's still a bit of thing. The smaller your cross hatch, if you went for an inch cross hatch, it would be even more stable, or matchstick, you know, lines. Now I've struggled with this because it is directional, but it's still beautiful. Hiya Janice, how are you? And Carol, you're all here. So we are going to start. I've drawn out 2 circles, so I've got my lid and the bottom. Now because I have a what's this, a template, circle template, and I'm not using a plate, it means that I can fussy cut it. Now I found with this one, I fussy cut it lovely so that I had bunnies, squirrel and fox on it, and then when I put the handle down, it covered the fox's face, which I wasn't happy about. So I've put the fox, you know, my handle is going to go across here, so I've put my fox right in there. Now I'm going to cut them out with scissors. So we're going to go to the forward facing. I wasn't sure how much of this to do as a prep, so we sort of, I did the cross hatching because I thought that would be the easiest. Now if I give you some sizes while I'm doing this, I've done a 7 inch circle. Hi Melba. Okay, and you want 2 7 inch circles for this size. Now you could do any size. I would suggest if you are making it bigger, you need to think about stiffening the sides a bit more, I would think. Okay, your side for a 7 inch circle, you're going to want it about 21 by whatever depth you want. Now I've gone with a 5.5 inch depth because you lose half an inch roughly. No, yes, you're going to lose about half an inch with the sewing of the bottom. The top bit gets bound, so you don't actually lose anything. But you can change that depth to anything that you would like. Okay, you want a fat quarter for your binding. But you need 2 strips of binding for the top. Okay, I used the tealy colour because it was in the pattern. That's why I went for that one. And I've used a plain white inside because I didn't want this tealy on my white. Okay, so I've used 1 strip of white for binding. You want them to be I would say at least 25 inches to be able to go around the hole, because the side is going to be 21, so you want 25 so that you can fiddle with it. Okay, you want enough to make a handle, whether you put in a bit of leather or whatever. Hiya Carol. You want 2 zips. Now I reckon they should be 9 plus, but it won't matter if you've only got 7 inch zips there. You just make your hinge a bit bigger. Okay, and I'm going to do a pocket as well on the top of my top. No, the under of my top, the bottom of my top. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit of a pocket we're going to have a go at, and you'll want binding for that. So, okay, so we're going back to the overhead now. Where are we? 3. Okay, so I've got a bit of vinyl. I've got the heavy duty vinyl. Now I didn't put a pocket on the other one, so I've no idea how this is going to work. Okay, so we're just cutting out the pocket like this. Now we've done it so that we've I've already quilted it so that we could reduce the need for doing an inside, you know, a lining. Right, that's not perfect, but we can always trim it off after. Bad use of my bad use of rotary cutter there, bringing it towards me. Okay, so we have this pocket. Now we don't need, which is my top, this is my top. We don't need it to be complete. Now you could cut it in half and put in a zip. Okay, zippity-doo-dun zip would be brilliant. However, you're only using 7 inches out of an 18-inch zip, and that seems an awful waste. So a little zip, but I didn't get my bum together in order to do that. So I'm just going to take it off at about a third. I'm going to take a third off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I go down 3 inches and follow that line there, like that, and cut off a bit of it, we can use one of our binding strips. Just need a short one really, don't we? Okay, so we'll take one of our binding strips and we're going to fold this in half. We're going to actually make this into like bias, proper bias. Okay, so that's what we need. Let's chop that off there, and chop that end off there, and hope I haven't chopped off too much again. No, it's fine. So we have our bit. I mean, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, 7 inches. I didn't know if it would change. So we're just going to fold it in half and iron it, and then we're going to take our raw edges into the middle and fold it again. Now I've cut a 2 1/4 inch binding because you want it to be fairly tight, or at least on the other bits that you're doing. So instead of 2 1/2, I've cut 2 1/4. There's a possibility you get away with 2 1/2. Right, I haven't turned. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip this in there, and we're just going to top stitch that in place. Okay, and then that's part of our pocket is done, like that. Okay, I'm putting off cutting the sides. Right, okay, so where are we? We're over here. So Sarah's got her 1/4 inch foot on, so I'm going to take it over the 1/4 inch, and I'm going to follow a line on there. I'm going to take it in a bit. So okay. So we're just sewing the bias to the top of this. It doesn't have to be bias, but I'd cut some. So because it's all straight, it doesn't have to be a bias. Okay, you could do this. That's really straight. You could have done this with normal flat binding. hang on, wrong one. There we go. It's going to flash onto me and then over. So we've done that. That's the pocket. We're just going to trim that to the edge on these like that, and that's done. Now this is our lid, okay, and it's going to open that way. So you want your pocket to fit in there really, don't you? Okay, so your pocket is going to go in there like that. It's just a little pocket. If you used netting, if you had netting there, you could put some elastic on there, or put bias to edge it again. So that's that one. Yeah, it's going to be, because it's the lid, it's going to be upside down. Me mushrooms are upside down because I've done it all in one piece. So no, not to worry, not to worry. The inside, it should all sit out nicely. Right, your brain is all over the place. This side piece, okay. Now, I think if you just decide where you want it and how much you want to cut on this, and then you go from there. So let's just turn this around. I've got all sorts of bits. Hang on a tick. Let's cut that big bit off there because we don't need that. Okay, so you have a see-through ruler so you can place this. Okay, so I want my fox to be sat running along the bottom, okay, like this. I thought I did it quite well. The fox is sitting along the bottom, okay, so that's what we want to do. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the bottom of the fox's tail, okay, and I'm going to take off there like that. And you could use scraps for this if you wanted, I'm sure. So we're going from there and taking off. Now it might be that you want the owls on it, because I have no owls on this now, I've cut those off. But it might be that you want the owls. Right, so do I want to leave it at 6? I'm going to cut it down to, if I cut it down there, I'm going to lose the squirrel. So if we take off, so I've got less than 1/4 of an inch for the squirrel. I'm going to cover that, so I want to keep him that side. So if I take off, what did I say? 5.5, wasn't it? I'm going 5.5. Yeah, if I take it off from the bottom here, I'm not going to lose my fox, hopefully. Right, so I've cut my longest width of my fat quarter people thingy. Hiya Marilyn, how you doing? So what you want to do is measure this, okay? So you need to work out where your half is. So half is there. I'm looking for a pen. Does that one work? So we're looking for half there. Okay, so I've marked half on there. I'm going to mark a half there, like that. Then I'm going to put those 2 points together. See where I've put these 2 points? And I'm going to mark my half there. So it's in quarters. It's always handy, even if you never use those markings necessarily. It's always good on a circle to know where your halfway marks are. And we're going to mark halfway on here. No, we're not. We're just going to put it, it's the bottom, so you want it, put it on there. So those, and put those right sides together. Let's find, it's going to be your front, isn't it? So that's your, it's not going to matter, it's the back. So just put that on there, and you're going to measure it. You're going to go round and clip it in place so that you can measure how it's going to fit. It's easier to make adjustments at this point than it is at any other point. So you're just going to take that around like that to there. Okay, then we're going to go from the other side and keep going round. Round like this. So what have you all got planned for the weekend? Have you seen the weather? It's supposed to be getting colder now, which is, ooh, I think we've got just enough. See, if you use the 7-inch circle, you'll find that you might have just enough. Yeah. So that's going to come along here. So if we see there, if we sew it so that we're using this but keeping this in the seam allowance, it should fit. She says, fingers crossed. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this so that you're going just over that white mark. I want that white mark to be in my 1/4 of an inch. Okay, it's going to be at the back, so hopefully, now if you use a non-position, directional, the non-directional one, you'll find that you'll have more play with your fabric. So the idea is that we hopefully won't have that. Hang on, what did I do? I did that, and then I folded it, didn't I? I folded it back. So we're going to do it like that, okay? And I'm going to put in a line there. I'm just trying to remember how I did it yesterday, because I ended up with quite a nice neat little line there, and I can't remember how I did it. Okay, so we're going over to here. Hiya Marion, how are you doing? So we want 1/4 of an inch from there. So just sewing this in place here. Pressed a button and I don't know what it does. Alright, okay. don't know. Right, so, oh, that's right, yes. So we have this here, all right. So at the back, on the proper side, we've pretty much, I've got a bit of a white line. I could sew it again and take it down, but we're going to run with it, I think. Okay, but inside we've got this selvage here. Now I can fold that in. Well, I could. I've got it all up here. We're just opening that. We'll lose that in our seam allowance now. So I'm going to fold my selvage and then fold it again. Okay, like that, so that you end up with this fold inside, like that. Just like that. Can you see Dave anywhere? Where's Dave? Or a pin. There we go. So I've folded it over. You can see some of these are not finished right to the end. So because I'm using a fat quarter, I'm using my selvage to the best advantage that I can, just purely and simply to give me that, just that enough to go on the 7-inch. Okay, so I'm now going to sew down here to give it goes all the way through. You could, if you don't want the lines on the outside, you know, you don't want this seam going down there, then you could hand stitch that. But I know most of you are allergic to hand stitching. Now, this is not easy because you've got to try and get it through without catching everything else. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to bring it as close as I can to the edge. Oh look, the bobbin. I don't know how to fill a bobbin. Right, so we're going along here. It won't let me. It won't let me do anything. Okay. So people, I'm not quite sure how. She must have a bobbin full. Yeah, she does. All sorts of colours, but not what I want. Okay. So I'm going to pull this one out. Maybe. Oh, just like that. And we're going to go in here. In a lesson on how Sarah Jane does a bobbin. How do you get that out? How do you get the bobbin out? I can't see how you get the bobbin out. Okay, show me how to get the bobbin out then. On mine there's a little thing that I can grab hold of. Okay. I don't even know whether there's a bobbin release. What about you lot? When am I getting the lessons on the Bonina? I know. But even if I'd have had a play on it, bobbins wouldn't have been one of the things that I will have learned. So I don't know whether that pops out. Oh, come on. I don't even know where the book is. See, where's the book? Let's have a look. No. Right, folks. We are scuppered because I can't get the bobbin out. Okay? I don't know whether there's a eject button. Anybody know that? Is there an eject button? But I can't I really don't want to hurt it. I know that these things are, hang on. Oh! There's an eject button. Right, okay. So there's bloody loads on this. What's it on about? Okay. Right, so it's a P. Did you know about that? You get some that are a P and some that are a Q from my point of view, okay? This one is a P. So it's going to go in there. And go the other way, I'm guessing. Around there. How do I get in there? Like that. Okay. So, and that goes in like that. Okay. So, where's the thing? Okay. So, I think I might have it. So we're going to put a bit of scrap in and give it a go. And then I have to remember where I was. Okay, let's have a bit of scrap. That'll do. Okay, so. Look at that. There's loads on that bobbin. How can they say that there's something wrong with it? So, okay, that seems to be stitching okay. Not a colour that I wanted, but we'll go with it. Okay. Spit it out. Right, where were we? We were doing this. So, we're going to put this under. I'm trying to sew as close to this folded edge, okay, to make sure that I catch everything that's underneath. Alright. So we're just sewing all the way down, taking my pins out as I go and making sure it stays folded down. Now you need to make sure that you're not sewing over the rest of the side, okay? There we go. I'm quite chuffed with myself. I found the bobbin and we sorted it out. Okay, right, now we have our side, okay? Now, we could have done it so that it was in two and the zip went down here, but I figured you want more of this than, you know, if you put a zip here, you're losing all of this. There's no point in this because you can only fill that amount, really. You could have a ball of wool, I suppose, and it's sticking up, but that's the only bit that's actually going to be of any use. So this is why we're putting the zip at the top. So we now have this and we have to hope that it's going to fit. So I'm going to take one of my marks. Oh, we're going to work out the middle of this now. Okay, so I've folded it on my crease and I'm going to mark my halfway here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my crease and my mark. Where's my mark? There's my mark. And line those up. Okay, so that gives me my quarter. So we're going to make a mark there and there and a mark there and there. Okay, like that. So now we are going to put this together. Now, yeah, that's my bottom. We're going to do it so that our seam is on the inside. Now you could do it so that your seam is on the outside. Okay, you could do it so that the seam is on the outside and put the binding on the outside, but we're doing it this time with it on the inside. Now you could put this in and put your binding on at the same time, but as we are giving ourselves that bit of time, we can do it. So I'm just taking all my marks and lining them up. You see that? And putting them together like that. Then in between, I'm just doing it like that, and it fits perfectly. Doing it like that. Seems to be a bigger bit between that one and that one. Like that. I'll put that in there, like that. Line that up, like that. Now, the bucket storage is done very similarly. And the round basket, storage baskets as well, they're done with this technique. We're using Bosal for those two, but they're done with the same technique, fitting it in. And with those, you do that with the outside, and then you make an inside to fit in. But this time we've done it all in one go. Okay, so we're now going to put this back on the sewing machine. We're going to put it with the bottom down, and we're going to concentrate on the sides, okay, as we go round. All right, so thanks, Jean. I'm quite proud of the fact that I managed to work it out. There had to be an eject button. There was nothing to pull. With my brother, I'd pull. You know, you take that little bit out and pull. Right, we've got a 1/4 inch guide, so I'm going to go with that. I used a normal foot yesterday and picked a point and did it. So we're going to put in our few stitches. Now remember, you've got 6 layers here. You've got 4 layers of fabric and a layer of and 2 layers of wadding. Okay, so you need to think about whether or not you need to up your stitch. Now I don't need to with Sarah's machine because it seems to power through anything. With mine, even though I've never had a problem with mine, I upped it to a 3.5. I do a 3.5 on the quilting, but I upped it to a 3 to make sure that I would have no trouble with it all going through. I don't know, I'd like to make a bigger one, but you'd need to have a stronger sides, I think. It would be good to have a they're quite a nice thing, an old vanity case. So we're just going along here and putting this in place. Okay, so I've got it clipped, but but I'm just making sure I'm replacing stuff as we go around. Like this. So they'd be quite nice as a charity stall thing, wouldn't they? They would look nice. You could you can carry your yarny projects in them. If you were doing EPP, there's no reason why it has to be circular as well. You could make it any shape that you wanted. The methods that we're using here are very useful for a lot of projects. Okay, so we now have the bottom, so it's all even on the bottom and we've caught it all the way round. Okay, and you can see inside that it's going to sit nicely, albeit back to front, but it's on the bottom, it's not going to matter. Right, so I have a white binding. Now yesterday I did a bias, fold it in half and then bring the insides in, but I never think it looks really tidy. Okay, so we're going to try it the other way this time. So the other way involves just folding it in half. Okay, so we're just going to fold it in half like that and iron it in. Now, I did this easy way. Take a fat quarter, fold it diagonally in square. Work out where your square is and fold it so that it's diagonal, which gives you your 45-degree angle, which you then cut. I can't see a fat quarter hanging around here to show you. Right, so this one we are going to put this on. How did we do it? We went from there, didn't we? So we're going to sew it on that way, like that, and then we're going to fold it over like that, and then you can hand stitch it or fold it, sew it again. Okay, so what you do is you're going to go round and give yourself a little bit to play with. So if we come here, we're going to aim to have our join here on the original join. Your favourite project to do is still the project wallet. I love a project wallet. We all know this about me. If I have orphan blocks or anything, I make it into a project wallet. That's basically the Jeeves bag that we've been showing you. Is basically a load of project wallets, all sewn on. So it's the same. The same. I don't know why I'm doing that. Just to check it was going to fit, I think. Right. So we're going to leave that there. And I'm going to start sewing from here. Okay, let's move that up here. I'm going to start sewing from here, which gives me that little bit to play with as we come back round. All right, so we're just going to put this on at the 1/4 of an inch all the way round, and then we'll come back. And then I think what we'll do is we'll leave the rest then for next week. Okay, so Just putting this on. You want to make sure, see the bias has got a bit of stretch in it, which helps you get around the corners, but you don't want to stretch it, because if you stretch it, it then contracts and takes your work with it, and I think that's what happened to the top of the one I'm doing. So going along and round here. As we go round here. So I quite enjoyed doing this. You know, I watched a lot of people and what they did, and then took bits that I liked from different things, and then worked out my own sizing based on the fat quarters, because we've all got fat quarters that are sitting at home, and very often we'll buy a fat quarter that they all go together. So this is quite a nice and something different. So we're coming towards the end. Right, so one of the things that we need to do is button it up. Okay, now I have shown you before about doing it, especially on a bias where you do it on a slant, but this one looked a bit easier. So you're going to work out where you want it to end, and we want it to end about there, don't we? So this is still in place along here, and I want this to end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to mark it, make sure it's in thing. I'm going to mark it so that I know that's where the fold is. Okay, and then I'm going to take this piece here, and I'm going to work out it's got to come up to it. Oh, I could have done with a bit more play, but never mind. Okay, so we know that that's going to butt up there, and mark that. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece, and you're going to open it out, and you can see where the join would be. And you're going to open this piece out, and you're going to make sure that you put right sides together, and you are going to marry up right sides together. You're going to marry them up on the lines. Okay, so I'm going to make sure those lines join. What did I do with those pins? I'm going to pin that there. I'm going to take that back over. Make sure everything is out the way and it's flat. It's always better to give you a bit more manoeuvrability than this. Ooh. Because we're going to do it. I'm going to do it so that the short bits on the top, I think, it'll be a lot easier to handle. But you're going to make sure everything's flat, like that. And we're going to sew on the line. Hopefully I've not lost the line. Like that. Just like that. Okay, so just check that it's all in the right place. It's not three bad. And we're going to trim that at 1/4 inch there. Okay, like that. I'm going to fold this in and continue and sew it down. Oh. There we go. Okay, so we now have our bindings put on there. So you're just going to fold it down like that, away, and either hand stitch it or go around again with the machine and put that in place there. Okay, but I'll do that at home. So there we have a pot. Now there's no reason why you get to this point you can't just bind the top and you have a nice little bowl. Okay, you bind the top or roll it and put an edge on it, and you'd have a bowl with your foxes, but that's not what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to sew that down, and I'll prep this. I'm going to put a handle on it. Okay, I'm going to put a handle on there. We'll get a handle ready, and this will be in place. So it's just this, and showing you how to do the zip next week. Okay, otherwise we could be here until 4 o'clock. So we're going to I'm going to go now. It's a shame that we had to search for the what's it called, the bobbin, but we sorted it. I'll be back next week and we'll finish the project off. Okay, so get your bowls up to this point. You know, the bottom is not looking too bad, and I'm a lot happier with this binding. I think once I've put that on, it should look a lot tidier. You could probably get away with a 2 on there, looking at it now, instead of the 2 1/4. You could probably get away with a 2 binding. It'll roll better. So I will see you next week. Okay, if anything comes in tomorrow, I will I'll let you know. I'll open the boxes with you tomorrow. All right, you take care now. Bye.